Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm gonna do another book review and I'm also gonna do a little bookstore haul. So today's book review is Art and Lies by Jeanette Winterson. She is an amazing author. I would have to say she's probably my favorite author of all time. Like, I probably like her even more than Rachel Cusk because Jeanette Winterson compared to Rachel Cusk, I truly believe sometimes when I read her work, it's like reading the words of a prophet. It's just transcendental, and I feel like the human spirit is just exalted just through the experience of reading her work. And it's just so beautiful. And another one of her writings is called I already forgot the name of it, but another book that I've read by her is called Written on the Body, and I'll probably do another book review of that. And it's a critique. With any book that's truly great, it's multi-layered, and it's like peeling back layers of an onion. There's so many deeper levels of meaning, and it can be analyzed from so many different perspectives. And Art and Lies, like Jeanette Winterson is like a lesbian author, and so a lot of her work is about just like true yearning and like freedom of like sexuality, and just not even just that, just it's just like about pure passion, like pure love. And in this world where we're in this very like capitalist society where we're just trying to survive and we're keeping our heads down, this like true yearning, this true passion, this like exaltation of the human spirit is just missing because we're crushed as we spend all of our time trying to survive. And it's just so beautiful. So this book, Art and Lies, I think the main theme of this book would be this is a very common theme that you can find in a lot of classic works, but art transcends all. It's the only thing that defies mortality, and it's going to outlive the rest of us. That what we create, artistically, creatively, and what we put out into the world through our art form, our medium, whatever that may be, that is really the only thing that can transcend like time and space. And if we leave like a legacy through our close friends or family members, eventually we'll be forgotten. But the one thing that outlasts all of that is like the art we create, because it's the representation or the exhibition of like the human spirit. And so why I say this work is very experimental. This thing's kind of annoying me, but it's very pretty. It's like a little bookmark and it's dangly and it has a little thing at the end that's really pretty, but I'm gonna take it out just because it's kind of annoying me. But why this work is so experimental is because it's written from 3 points of view that kind of alternate throughout the book. One is Handel, and he's a doctor but also a priest, and he's kind of sacrificed his personal life in honor of like intellectualism, and he doesn't really have a life. He also, trigger warning for sexual abuse, especially that of children. He has sexual trauma from his past that he has to work through, and he's kind of like this. He observes how society is degrading and how there's no sense of true meaning or honor or purpose in society, and he has a very like scathing, cynical view of the world around him and of his colleagues. He thinks they're all like pigs and awful, and he sees the injustices that are happening around him to like women and poor people, and he just kind of feels like this helpless like bystander. He's just he feels like the core of society, like the fabric of society is like unraveling, and he kind of documents that through his point of view, but at the same time he feels helpless to do anything to fix it, and he neglects his own emotional, sexual needs in the process. And then the second point of view is Picasso, and she's an aspiring artist, and she lives in a very abusive, toxic family dynamic. And eventually she runs away from home because it's just so awful. She's being sexually abused by her brother. Nobody appreciates her for the true version of herself. People hate that she's like this artist and that she's just very authentic, and her family is just kind of soulless and lifeless, and they're just going through the motions, and they're sticking with this very like traditional heteronormative family structure. Even if everyone's unhappy, it's just something that it's just what you do. You don't question it, you don't challenge it, and you're the one in the wrong if you ever dare try to like leave this family dynamic and pursue something that's more fulfilling in honor of your true self. And so she runs away from home, and it kind of like tracks her experience with deconstructing how negative her family life was, and as she's trying to pursue and create art. And it's so beautiful, just wonderful. And then the third and final perspective is that of Sappho, the lesbian poet from like Greek ancient times, or ancient Greece, I should say. And it's so beautiful. It feels like one long stream of consciousness, just like poetic writing. And she's kind of this character that exists outside of time, where you're not entirely sure if she's like this immortal like entity that can be present through different like epochs throughout time. And she's just the embodiment of like true passion, just true passion, just like unmitigated by societal norms and expectations. She's free from all of it, and her love is just beautiful. And some of the most beautiful pieces of writing I think I've probably ever read. And gosh, like Jeanette Winterson just does a great job of like showing the depths of human suffering and our longing for love and to live the most authentic version of ourselves, and then also the resistance against that. And honestly, this is probably one of the most beautiful books I've ever read, and I honestly could probably like reread it sometime in the future and have like a whole new experience, because that's when you know you have a really good book, is when you can reread it at different points in your life and still get something new out of it. And I believe with a lot of Jeanette Winterson's books, that is the case. Just amazing. And I'll try to show you some of the writings. I honestly really liked Handel's character because he just has such a critical, view of the world. And it's awkward in a society where the cult of the individual has never been preached with greater force, and where many of our collective ills are a result of that force, to say that it is to the self to which one must attend. But the self is not a random collection of stray desires striving to be satisfied, nor is it only by suppressing such desires, as women are encouraged to do, that any social cohesion is possible. Our broken society is not born out of the triumph of the individual, but out of his effacement. He vanishes, she vanishes. Ask them who they are, and they will offer you a wallet or a child. What do you do is the party line, where doing is a substitute for being, and where the shame of not doing wipes away the thin chalk outline that sketches husband, wife, banker, actor, even thief. It's comforting, my busy life, left alone with my thoughts, I might find I have none, and left to my own emotions, is there much beyond a childish rage in the sentimentality that passes for love?
What's left? Romance. Love's counterfeit free of charge to all. Fall into my arms, and the world with its sorrows will shrink up into a tinsel ball. This is the favorite antidote to the cold robot life of faraway perils and nearby apathy. Apathy, from the Greek apathos, want of feeling. But, don't we know, only find the right boy, only find the right girl, and feeling will be yours.
So as you can tell from the excerpt that I was reading, that Jeanette Winterson, her writing is very critical of the capitalist society that we find ourselves in. It's very much like a caste system, the amount of wealth inequality that we experience, where there's the have-nots and those that have everything. And she really exposes the harshness of that, and how in a capitalist society, I think we're all addicted to something and we're all trying to fill that hole within ourselves. And one of the things that we gravitate towards to fill that hole is romance, because we live in a hyper individualistic culture, and it's like as soon as you meet your soulmate, you know you're a complete person now. You've met your other half. There's no need to work on yourself any further. And I notice that as well in a capitalist society with rom-coms and other things like that, where like romance or the dream of romance is like a drug, because it's supposed to be this transcendental experience that replaces like true spirituality and true community. And romance is placed on this like pedestal, especially like heteronormative romance, and it can't meet all of our needs as human beings. We have to, I'm not saying romance in and of itself is a bad thing, it's a beautiful thing, but it needs to be balanced out with community, a true sense of self, and a spiritual practice, whatever that may be, and just like a good moral code. And handles kind of like observing this sad state of affairs that we find ourselves in, where we're trying to fill this hole in our hearts that capitalism is trying to fill us with things that we don't need. And Jeanette Winterson is just so beautiful, because she kind of provides the antidote to this in her stream of consciousness writing, where it's like true desire and true fulfillment is not attached to materialism in any way. And if you really do sit in silence and you do allow yourself to take a step back and to just breathe, what you realize is there is no such thing as the individual. There is no such thing as the self. We live in this very capitalist Western world where there's a division between the mind and the body, and there's a division between ourself and other people and other beings, when in reality, we're all one entity. We're all connected within the universe, and we're just the universe experiencing itself. And Jeanette Winterson, she doesn't say that explicitly in her writing, but that sentiment is conveyed through her critique of capitalism and the ways in which different characters in this book find themselves and they find true meaning. And it's only when you realize that we're not separate, but we're connected to the larger whole, that's when we finally, for lack of a better term, saved from ourselves and saved from the emptiness within ourselves. It's just you have to find a way to, instead of trying to run away from your loneliness, you need to find a way to talk to it. And that brings me to another thing that I got today from the bookstore. It's called Teachings of the Hindu Mystics. And I didn't think I would get anything from the bookstore today. I was just kind of like dropping off like used books that I don't want to bring back with me on my move. And I was just kind of trying to get rid of stuff. And then as I was walking around, I found this like anthology of different like Hindu like poems and teachings. And I was just, as I was reading it, I was just overcome with this feeling of just like peace and like letting go, and just a sense, like just a sense of true like quietness and stillness. And I'll just read to you what I read in the bookstore today, because I think it connects to Jeanette Winterson's book Art and Lies, because it captures this sense of, you know, there is no true self, and this feeling of individuality, or the fact that I'm special or different from other people, that is an illusion. It's a delusion that distracts us from the truth. And so this is called Awareness, I am the infinite ocean. Yesterday I lived bewildered in illusion, but now I am awake, flawless and serene, beyond the world. From my light the body and the world arise. So all things are mine, or nothing is. Now I have given up the body and the world, I have a special gift. I see the infinite self. As a wave, seething and foaming, is only water, so all creation, streaming out of the self, is only the self. Consider a piece of cloth, it is only threads. So all creation, when you look closely, is only the self. Like the sugar in the juice of the sugar cane, I am the sweetness in everything I have made. When the self is unknown, the world arises, not when it is known. But you mistake the rope for the snake. When you see the rope, the snake vanishes. My nature is light, nothing but light. When the world arises, I alone am shining. When the world arises in me, it is just an illusion. Water shimmering in the sun, a vein of silver and mother of pearl, a serpent and a strand of rope. From the world streams out, and in me it dissolves. As a bracelet melts into gold, a pot crumbles into clay, a wave subsides into water. I adore myself. How wonderful I am. I can never die. The whole world may perish, from Brahma to a blade of grass, but I am still here. Indeed, how wonderful. I adore myself. For I have taken form, but I am still one. Neither coming or going, yet I am still everywhere. I am the infinite ocean. When thoughts spring up, the wind freshens, and like waves 1,000 worlds arise. But when the wind falls, the trader sinks with his ship. On the boundless ocean of my being he founders, and all the worlds with him. But oh, how wonderful! I am the unbounded deep in whom all living things naturally arise, rush against each other playfully, and then subside. Beautiful. So I'm really glad I picked this up, and I'm excited to read the rest of what it has to offer. And the next thing I got, even though I recently bought a journal, I got this, like a little habit tracker, because I've tried to do habit tracking in the past in my journal, but I never really stuck to it. And I just think this will actually get me into the habit of like tracking my habits during the week, because there's like stickers and it's really like aesthetically pleasing and it's just like super cute. And hopefully this will make 2025 a more productive year. Yeah, just like thank you so much for watching. And you know what, I kind of want to do another video where I analyze different YouTube videos, like kind of like a commentary channel, even though I know I made this channel for the express purpose of like book reviews and literature reviews. I feel like sometimes it's tempting to comment on different YouTube videos that I watch. And for example, like Theo Vaughn, I feel like I want to do like a whole analysis of like his persona on the internet and the appeal he has for like right wingers, because like Theo Vaughn, where he's from, like I was born in the same area that he's from, and I have family from where he's from. And the thing is, he's such an enigma, and I really want to analyze like what he represents to conservatives, and also why it's hard to attack him for platforming Trump, because there's like this weird, anyways, I need to save that for another video. Yeah, thank you so much for watching.